The Eagles are the Super Bowl champions.
Musical intro coming soon. How was your Super Bowl weekend?
Little bro. Super Bowl weekend, cannot complain. I mean, stress-free Super Bowl for your team is, I mean, there's not much more you can ask for.
Yeah, a little anticlimactic, I guess, but yeah, Trevor.
It doesn't feel quite right. It doesn't feel right being on the other side of the screen again. It felt so awesome to be in the studio. But
it was natural to be next to each other
already.
You can like feel you could feel like the tension and the sexual chemistry in the room.
You really could. Honestly, I thought it was going to blow up and we were going to be able to continue to rent out that apartment space, but
yeah, you guys got to donate to our Venmos and you got to watch our TikToks. You got to get us blowing up so we can do that every time.
We need a small donation of $1 million.
That's all it's going to take. All it takes is $1 million. So if you're interested, let us know. We'll give you our Venmo information.
I was thinking about maybe we could get into this space. The Exciting Whites podcast is apparently coming soon. I don't know. Maybe we could do a little collab.
I think if they start a pod, we're cooked.
They already are starting a pod.
I know. We are the Exciting Whites.
No, I'm saying that we could do it with them. We could reach out.
We have reach out and say we have trained professionals. We have more subs than you. Anyways, the Super Bowl, the creme de la creme, happened this Sunday. If you didn't know, and it was Eagles versus Chiefs, and Eagles kicked some ass and took some names. It was 34-0. Game was over, but love to see it for the first half. Love seeing them run up the score. Second half, did it really matter? Who am I to say? But Super Bowl is crowned. The champion is crowned. What are your comments on it?
Is Patrick Mahomes your GOAT?
No, he's not my GOAT. Get out of here.
I mean, that was a disgrace from Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to be honest. He did not put his team in a position to succeed. And I think a lot of it was because of the pressure that the Eagles were bringing on the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Eagles defense was insane.
Unreal. You know, they didn't blitz
not once.
The entire game.
Not one blitz, and 52% of the snaps were pressures still. 6 sacks, I think. And 2 picks. Strip sack. Pick 6 by Cooper DeJean is not a safety.
On his birthday.
On his birthday. Saquon's a bum. Can't score on his own birthday. Hurts got started with a push right off the bat. Jahan Dotson to get down there. Bam. Field goal by Jake Elliott. Shout out Jake Elliott. Going 11 for 11 on kicks. 3 of them got called back, but he still made them. It's good for his conscience. 11 for 11. My MVP.
Probably his confidence, right?
Not actually.
His conscience?
His conscience, yeah. Like the voices in his head.
Fair, I guess.
His confidence.
I don't really know my vocab.
But yeah, great. I mean, fantastic first half for Eagles fans. They're making plays. The Chiefs ran like 13 plays all half and had 14 total yards. I mean, time
of possession was insane.
It's the biggest game of the year, but we're gonna have like the least amount to talk about because I mean, if you just watch it, you know exactly what happened because there's not much analysis to give. It was a B to A, belts to asses.
Speaking of belts, the belt has made it through customs and is in Boston.
The belt made it through customs. You got a dirty look from the TSA agent, but you made it.
You should have seen, like, you know, they have that screen, like, when it goes through.
Yeah.
So I'm, like, waiting for them to pull it aside. I honestly, like, low-key was hoping they would because how cool would that have been? It was on top of my luggage, so, like, they would have had to, like, unzip it, and it would have just been this gigantic championship belt. But they just, like, flicked it on that screen, like, through the layers, and you could just see, like, the whole screen filled with this giant belt shape. It was so funny. Pretty awesome.
Your flight was good, though?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm trying to think what I did on my flight, if I did anything fun. I didn't actually. Now that I think about it, played a little bit of Retro Bowl.
Nice. Classic game.
Classic game.
Back to the bowl, but first half, I said it, all the picks. AJ Brown had that wide open touchdown, Cooper DeJean pick six, and then we get into the second half, get a field goal to start, and then Smitty, what a dot by Hurts, what a route by Smitty. They think we're just handing it off to Barkley because that's what we're doing every play, and they pull that thing back and whew, he lets it fly. Bang, 34-0, game over.
I felt nervous for 3 minutes when we had that OPI against us. I was like, that's how it's going to be. And then they gave us a makeup call the next drive.
Yeah,
and
that was the refs. They missed some calls, but that happens every game. But it wasn't like an absorbent amount of calls. The game wasn't close enough for them to matter really. But they obviously messed up the first play. They kind of made it. I think they clearly made a makeup call right away, and they kind of let the boys play. There was only a couple flags thrown for the rest of the game. Except
I know. I would love to see
my boy Rick Lovato. He does that snap motion every single time he hikes the ball the entire season. Never been called for it. They call it twice on him. His snap is that he brings the ball forward and then snaps it. That's what he does. Watch some film, refs.
What are you gonna do?
Get in the film room.
For real.
Poor Rick Lovato. He's a free agent. That might have cost him a deal. Not.
I was sure there's someone else. Someone else might have played himself into a deal. Who do we think that is? Sweat.
Yeah, Josh Sweat. I hope he said that he wants to be in the right. It's not all about money, and he wants to be in the right situation. So I hope that's saying he take a little bit of a pay cut to play in Philly, because he's a Philly guy. Man. He's homegrown. Milton.
No. I was going to say there's one man that we will not be seeing this year.
Who's that?
Kellen.
Oh, I was like, I thought you were gonna say Zach Bond. I was like, there's a chance he comes back too. I think, but Kellen Moore.
No, I want Bond big time.
Yeah, I want Sweat and Bond. But Kellen Moore.
Good luck being $54 million over the cap, buddy.
$54 million over the cap. Have a 30-year-old running back as your lead back. No quarterback. No offensive line. No defense. But hey, good luck. Good luck. He's gonna get paid like $6-7 million more. Good for him. Like, you can't turn down that much money. And
I mean,
hopefully he can figure it out. But Hurts is going to have his ninth offensive coordinator in 10 years now. So
I think they say money is nice, championships are better.
Yeah, but he got his ring. So now you gotta try. She was a head coach before. I'm sure he wanted to get back there. It wasn't going to happen on the Eagles. So I wanted them to take the Ben Johnson route and stay around the team for a little longer than he could have if he would have left like first year he was available for a coach, and then drove his price up a little bit, and then maybe solidified his position to get one of the top coaching vacancies, like Ben Johnson getting the Bears instantly and not getting the Saints. But hey, he's gonna get a bag. Maybe he can turn the ship around a little bit, and but yeah, who can tell?
Go get your money, bro.
Go get your money. MVP.
Should we jump into
Hurts?
our?
We can jump into some stuff after. I want to touch on Hurts a little bit because we're talking about all those players and the defense. Absolutely. But how about MVP Hurts? Love Hurts. Great commercial. He was slinging that thing. Like, he's like the first. I could be wrong. I think they said he was the first quarterback ever to have over a 70% completion rate, being in 2 Super Bowls. Like, he's being in 2+ Super Bowls. He has over a 70% completion rate, and he wasn't making he was making some easy throws, like over the middle, but he had some nice throws to Brown on the sideline, the one to Dotson, the one to Smith. He had some deep balls that he was really connecting on, and I think people are going to start respecting, I said it last week, start respecting Sirianni. They're going to start respecting Hurts. They're going to respect the Eagles. And, next year we're probably going to be favorites, which I like being the underdog, so it's going to be a little scary, but hey, maybe we can get that three-peat.
He also scrambled very well.
Yes, very well.
He didn't run until it was a great idea.
Yeah.
And he picked up a couple first downs. I think there were at least 2 or 3 of them were on third downs where he picked up 3rd and long.
Yeah, he had some nice 15-yard runs. Brady said it. He was about to get sacked, and I feel like we've seen this a million times where Hurts sits in the pocket too long, takes a sack, maybe fumbles in the Super Bowl. That was getting flashbacks for a second. Or he doesn't throw the ball away and slides then, but Brady said he has 6th sense where he he felt the pressure and just started running right up the middle. It was perfect. You see Jane Daniels do that. You see a bunch of other rushing quarterbacks do that. And it feels like Hurts has almost lost that ability, but in the biggest stage of them all, he was running, he was throwing, good game management, good calls by Sirianni. And the fact that if we would have just kept playing our game, we would have scored 50 plus. And they would have already, they've only scored, I'll give them 2 still. It would have been 50-14 or something.
I saw that Hurts was the first quarterback in NFL history to have 10 rushing and 10 passing touchdowns in their postseason statistics. I was pretty surprised by that. But then I was looking up, like, Josh Allen's only had 7 rushing.
He has the most quarterback rushing yards in a game as well, which he broke his own record.
GOAT. Love to see that.
But appreciate all you guys for watching our NFL content, but NFL time is going to come to an end soon. We're going to touch on maybe some other little things, but then we're going to get into basketball, baseball, random sports. So we'll still touch on.
Should we do that soccer segment?
Nah. We're going to talk on real sports. I forgot what
we'll never be talking about.
Yeah, we won't be
interested in talking about. If you're looking for a soccer podcast, this is not the one for you.
Maybe one week. Maybe we'll do some research and
How about right now? Shout out to Milan for beating somebody on
Christian Pulisic
Saturday.
We've talked to move on. We've talked too much.
Okay. Awesome.
Halftime show?
Halftime show. Turn the TV off.
Yeah, I heard from my family
That's
going,
kind of
yeah, you should turn the TV off. I heard a lot of that. There was a lot of words in my household. But I thought it was... Yeah, I think there should have been a better song selection, but...
What was her name?
Serena?
Not what's her name. I know her name.
Serena
Williams.
Yeah, come on.
Doing the crip walk.
Yeah. That was a good touch.
Yeah. You know why they did that?
Because she's his ex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know his other ex is SZA?
Yeah, it is pretty fire. Like, I was watching more... It was because people in my party weren't really watching it. They're just complaining about it, so I couldn't really hear everything. But, like, after seeing some clips, like, he had some bars. I just wish he sang a little more popular songs. I know I like Kendrick. I'm not the biggest Kendrick fan, but I wish he would have played some more mainstream stuff. It's a Super Bowl halftime show. Come on.
I totally agree. And I thought it was a little bit weird how he kept teasing Not Like Us. We know it's
I kind of like that.
Did you?
I like the one, when he did it, the first time, I liked it.
Okay, but then he did it like 3 more times.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you're a superstar. You have other songs that people want to hear. You don't need to tease us with one.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. He's got some great music. You should have just played it.
Mm-hmm. The choreography was good. The camera shots were good. The set was pretty cool. Some of the songs were pretty good. Humble and Not Like Us and Squabble Up. They were pretty cool. But that weird like unreleased song he started with, like, what are we doing? That's not hooking in the whites, the exciting whites at my party. They weren't getting really hooked by your unreleased rap song. I'm not gonna lie.
That's crazy.
Like, Humble started playing, and like SZA sang her song with Kendrick, and they were like, "Oh, this is not bad." And then he went back to like, not popular songs, and they're all I liked it.
SZA stole the show.
Yeah, SZA sounded really good.
Yeah, she's fire.
I did like Samuel L. Jackson, just making fun of the people that were watching, because what he was saying was exactly what my party was saying when SZA started doing, and then they came back to Sam Jackson, and he was like, now that's some real music. That's exactly what my party was saying. I thought it was funny because they didn't realize like what was going on, that they were getting played a little.
I guess there's like a line in Drake's diss that like references Kendrick's uncle, and he was like, "Go call your uncle," or "Let me talk to your uncle," or something like that.
So you had Uncle Sam out there,
and then he was like, "Here's my uncle Sam."
Yeah, so I think he made the whole show about like making fun of Drake, but it's like not like if he just played Not Like Us, that would have been enough, and he could have done other songs. Like, if he did that Say Drake line and cut out everything else, it still would have been fire.
Yeah,
Past the halftime show, our little pick sheet we did. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, you want to run through it real quick?
Run through it all?
No. Let's just talk about some noteworthy moments.
Yeah.
First touchdown for the Eagles. Good call, Trey.
I got
Trey
Hurts.
called Hurts. First touchdown for the Chiefs.
Yeah, give yourself some credit. First touchdown for the Chiefs, Trevor. Xavier Worthy called it.
Worthy. We were all over it.
We had some good picks. We had some bad picks. But what it really came down to was like 3 factors. Gatorade color. I told you it was such a lock that it was green and yellow. You picked purple like an idiot.
It's just the odds, bro. Just played the odds game.
You took Saquon as MVP. I said that I'm going to take Hurts/Mahomes if they do win, and that worked out for me, which put me like 2 points ahead. But what would have really tied it and brought it back was the anthem over under.
We did say that it would be FanDuel's.
We said it was going to be Why'd you?
I just got low battery on my headset. I'm sorry, I missed that. But we said we'd be grading by FanDuel. Every other book graded it under, except FanDuel because of that note thing, which you did call out.
We said we're doing
that was
FanDuel.
A pro read. I'll give it to you. It was a pro
read.
You knew the rules. You read the rule book.
I even told you. I thought me explaining it to you that we are going to do last note. I think I don't even know. It might have went over before the last note because the last note wasn't very long. But I think it's been a very controversial topic. I looked it up to like confirm because I want to make sure I was right that it was over. And a lot of sports books that said the under, they're like, people are complaining that like even it was still over and like vice versa because the line was so sharp. But FanDuel had it at like 122, so it went over by like a second and a half for our thing, and that gave me the win.
He probably should have sang the lyrics instead of. I think it was "Land of the Free."
Land of the
free, land of the free, land of the free, land of the free. I'm not gonna lie. I sound like a real old head saying this, but I was like, bro, don't change the lyrics. Don't change the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner.
When he did it twice, I was like, okay. And then he did it a third time, and I'm like, that's crazy. You got to think. Does he have the over? Did he have the over? Because like, he was smiling too. He was like, "Land of the free," and then he like took a little "Land of the free," and then another time. Come on, John Baptiste.
Crazy.
But I did that little.
I'll give it to you. That was a great win. 43-41.
It was 43-41. I did that pool in my like party, and on mine I changed a little. I got like 45, which was enough for second. So like I did pretty good. First place got 52. Wow.
What?
I don't know what she was doing. She got cooking. 52.
Clearly cooking.
She cooked. Cooked me. Cooked everybody. Cooked you. So like I beat you in this, but like, are we really a winner if we got beat by a 70-year-old?
That's tough.
It's tough.
And I will say, I did win the picks and the spreads battle. I think
you did, yeah. It was you were up by 1, and then we made the same picks. So that's why I kind of stopped keeping track because I knew we were gonna pick the Eagles. Yeah, but I think you beat me by 1. You went like how many games were there? 13 games. I think you went like 8-5. I went like 7-6. So we both had some good picks. My bias of the Chargers got to me. I lost my playoff bracket pool of breaking the bracket all at once. I lost by 1 point to my friends Reese and Sean. Shout out. But if I didn't pick the Chargers, I would just pick the Chiefs. I would have won outright. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That black magic. It lasted until the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just had to. I mean, Chargers didn't even make it that far, so I can't. I mean, I really can't like complain.
You're right.
But I think that's pouring out for football season. I'm trying to look for something to show. Oh, here we go.
Water bottle.
Here we go.
I don't really want to pour it on myself.
I got this from the last one. We're gonna get a new one. Got some merch. But shout out football season.
Yeah, no footballs near me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I got a ton of crap. We could do an item a week. I got so many things up here.
We can start that.
The item of the week.
Comment below if you'd be interested in seeing one item a week from Trey's room.
I can give you like a little tease. Oh, that's all you get.
So now that football's over, What do we talk about?
Want to talk NBA? Want to talk MLB? Wrestling recap?
We could talk some NBA.
Some ball? You know ball?
Not really, but that's why we have it pulled up.
Yeah. I haven't been keeping up with basketball because we're watching football. But I like basketball. I'll probably start watching it a little more. Definitely more towards playoffs. And then when we didn't talk about March Madness.
That's going to be
we go.
Be phenomenal. That's going to be 2 good episodes.
End of March, early April. We'll have some good March. I go hard on March Madness.
March Madness is a Thursday, which means that one of these episodes will be coming out the morning before. We might need to do a special Wednesday release to give people some knowledge.
That's true, because the game started like 12.
So we might have to bump that.
Do release at 8 a.m. though.
We got weeks to go, but
yeah, we could bump them.
Some weeks to go.
I love March Madness. I am notorious, like my best sport to bet on is college basketball if I really get into it. So,
good to know.
I'm excited for that. I didn't think about that before, but let's get into the NBA.
Just go through some of these big trades from the trade deadline.
We saw trades. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
We talked about Luka already.
Yeah, I don't think that's old news.
Okay.
We can talk about some of the other trades that happened. We touched on Luka, so yeah, let's talk about some other stuff.
Marcus Smart. He is no longer on the Grizzlies. He's now with the Wizards.
Yeah, that was like a 3-team trade.
Pretty cool guy. Yeah, I mean, Kings didn't really get much.
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley was in that trade. A couple second-round picks.
Marvin Bagley, he was supposed to be so good.
I know. Let's see. Brandon Ingram to the Raptors.
And you see today?
What did I see today?
He got a 3-year, $120 million extension with the Raptors.
Wow.
So he's staying around. BI staying around.
That's quite a bit of cash for that, man.
Yeah, so he went to the Raptors. Good for him. They're going to have Scotty Barnes, Ingram, and who's their other piece? Grady Dick.
I couldn't tell you, man. I just saw it, though, and it was like, I saw a picture of the 3, and it was like, Big 3 used to mean something.
Yeah. Every team's got Big 3 now.
Kelly Olynyk.
Jimmy Butler got traded.
Jimmy Butler to the Warriors.
Makes
me a little upset.
He wanted to go to the Suns, and that ownership was definitely like, we're not letting you go to where you want to.
Yeah, and also I think that KD would have been part of that trade. And he would have been going to the Warriors.
And he wanted out, and they didn't trade him either. Yeah, so the Suns did nothing.
But he didn't want to go to the Warriors. He said that. He didn't want to link back up with the fellas, which is a little crazy to me because actually it's not really crazy to me. He's a weirdo.
Yeah,
I don't like that guy.
He's a bit of a strange cat. But
yeah, he is a strange cat.
He got a pretty
Wiggins to the Heat.
Yeah, he got a pretty decent return for that.
Yeah, Wiggins, Anderson, Mitchell, and first.
Yeah, Kyle Anderson. Yeah.
I did not realize how many teams were in this trade.
People sleep on Kyle Anderson. He's a good defender.
Richardson, KJ Martin, another second, cash considerations. Dude, let's just talk about my boy Dennis Schroeder.
18 teams.
Did you see what he said like the day before?
Guy gets passed around like the popular girl in high school.
Oh, it was pretty upsetting to me. He said trades are like modern day slavery. This is before he got traded. And then he was then on 4 teams in like 2 days. Just unruly level of disrespect.
Yeah,
I was kind of upset for
he's like it's like, but it makes sense because he's good, but he's never good to like re-sign as a free agent or like start even. Contract. Oh yeah, when he turned on that, oh my god, I forgot about that. When it was like what, $74 million, and then he didn't take it, and they ended up getting like a 2-year like teens million number. That's insane.
Yep. And then Mark Williams to the Lakers.
Nope.
Rescinded.
Not. But the Hornets are starting a NBA investigation because they think like some funny business happened and the Lakers like purposely failed it.
Wow.
So there might be some. It might get like reverse back to me and then like reverse back to you Uno style action if they like find something. And then poor Dalton Connect, he's like not playing because he's like because it was out of left field for him. He had no idea, so like they're not playing him because he's like, I just got to get in like the right headspace.
I'm gonna pull up the NBA standings here, and I'm gonna see what shocks us and what we kind of expected. We haven't really watched much, but we're about to get into it, so we should probably know where these guys stand.
Yeah, I'll throw out also
Number one in the East.
De'Aaron Fox and Zach LaVine got swapped for each other pretty much. Spurs and
Yep.
Not. Well, yeah, it was a 3-team trade. And then Kuzma and Middleton kind of swapped. I think those are kind of some notable trades to touch on, but we can go into standings.
You want to take a? So let's see if you know ball. Do you know who's number one in the East right now?
I probably would have guessed the Celtics, but I did look at this before, so I know it's the Cavs, which is, I think, surprising. Like from the start of the season, I don't think you would have expected the Cavs to be the 1 seed. Definitely like top 4 probably, but they're like pretty far in front too, aren't they?
Yeah, they got a 5-game lead on the Celtics. 5.5.
And they just traded for DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks.
They did.
So they got like D. Mitchell, Garland, Allen, Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, and the 6th man of the year, Ty Jerome. That guy's been balling. Talk about March Madness legend, Virginia, Ty Jerome.
These gentlemen are 43-10. That's a pretty damn good record.
I feel like they're like scrappy and playing the ball the right way.
The rest of these teams is pretty much the same as our playoffs last year. You got the Celtics, the Knicks, the Pacers, the Bucks. A bit of a surprise here for me, and the 6 are the Pistons.
Yeah, I feel like they've been improving every year, so like I don't think it's too shocking because like they were really young and they were really bad, but now Cade has developed. They have Jalen Duran. They have Tobias Harris, who's a good we're Sixers fans, so like we like clowning on Tobias Harris, but he's a solid vet piece. He's like a Harrison Barnes.
He is.
I think they have a solid
he's good
team.
For 20 against the Sixers.
Yeah, he's a good for 20 in a game kind of guy. He's not going to get 30. He might get 10, but he's good for 20.
And then we got the Heat and the Hawks, and then rounding out the play-in, the Magic and the Bulls.
Yeah.
Notice I didn't say Sixers.
Yeah.
So
The Sixers
have to hear about our.
I think we're only like a game out though, aren't we? And we've been playing, I would say, improved ball from the first like 15 games of the year.
Yeah, game and a half.
Even half, but Embiid just got hurt again, so.
And then right behind us is the Nets, who honestly no longer have Ben Simmons, so it might be over.
They're done for. But then the bottom 3 teams just stink.
Have you looked at the West? That one does not surprise me.
I forget. It's not Nuggets though, is it?
You want to take a guess at who's number 1?
It's not the Nuggets. I feel like Is it Nuggets?
No.
I know it's not. But I'm blanking.
Young men. A bunch of young men on this team.
Bunch of young men. They're all pretty young.
Lots of draft picks. Built this team up. It's the Thunder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew that. I do like the Thunder. I've always liked Shea and Lou Dort, legend. Chet's just started, and yeah, that was without Chet too. He just came back recently, or is coming back soon.
I have not seen how he's been playing. You got any idea?
Chet, he's been hurt all year.
Maybe something. But you're saying he's back?
I think he literally just came back. So I don't think he's done much yet.
Okay, maybe something to keep track.
So yeah, they got to the 1 seed without Chet Holmgren.
Let's add a segment. Chet watch.
Or not.
Then we got the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, the Lakers.
Grizzlies at 2 is kind of crazy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised to see them.
No, they're a good team, but 2 is that's pretty high for them.
In 5, this shocks me a little bit. The Rockets.
I like the Rockets. The Rockets are like the Pistons, but like a year ahead. Like they've had Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. And they've been balling for like 3 years now. I feel like so like they still feel super young, but they've been in the league for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And they've
Slowly but surely.
Sengun. Yeah, Sengun has been climbing every year. I like the Rockets. They're a young, scrappy team too.
Sengun used to be goated prop guy.
Yeah, I used to hammer Sengun.
Really started popping off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then you got the Clippers.
Yeah.
T-Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mavs.
Yeah, Well,
Mavs could fall off. I mean, they just AD's out. I just saw he's out for 3 weeks.
They traded for AD, and then he got hurt.
Generational
I think it was a groin injury.
And they're in the 8 with a couple guys chasing, and then 9 and 10 are the Kings and the Warriors.
Yeah, which I feel like every year the Kings and the Warriors are next to each other, or they face each other in playoffs, or they're. I think last year like only one of them made the playoffs. I'm pretty sure. I feel like they're like kind of like turned into a rivalry. I know that it's both California teams, so I guess that makes sense. But they've been neck and neck every year. But Kings just lost De'Aaron Fox.
They did. And the Warriors, I mean, I feel like whenever you got Steph, you got a chance. That guy just turns up sometimes.
And now they got Jimmy Butler.
And that's what they do. I'm excited to see those two together, actually. Maybe I'll start watching some basketball. And then Suns behind them, Spurs behind them, chasing. So Suns that low kind of surprises me. Tried to make some moves, didn't get anything to go down.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy they got KD and D-Book and Bradley Beal, and it's just not working. It's kind of like the Nets when they had KD, Harden, Kyrie, and it just didn't work. Like there's too many guys. I think that might be what's going. I mean, Bradley Beal has regressed obviously, but Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are still like elite players, but they're not winning. And the Spurs, they just got De'Aaron Fox, so you can see those Kings going down, the Spurs going up.
Spurs with Wemby and Fox pair them up.
Yeah,
exciting.
And then those bottom teams, I'm sure they're out.
Trailblazers
out
are kind of in. They're kind of in it.
They're out.
A 23 win team.
Name a Trailblazer.
Well, I think I used to know one, and he's not there anymore. And I can't even remember his name. Bones.
No, yeah, Bones Highland got traded, I think, this trade deadline.
Exactly. That's why he was the only one I knew.
Anthony Simons, I think, is the only guy I know.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, those guys.
Gary Trent.
Yeah, they're at 23 wins, so like I guess they could theoretically, like mathematically, then the Jazz and the Pelicans, they're both 12-win teams, so they're probably cooked. On the East, you're looking at like the Wizards and the Hornets are out of it. The Raptors have 16 wins, they're out of it. Nets and the Sixers have 19 and 20, they're probably out of it.
Whoa! The Sixers are a game and a half back. Come on,
the 10 seed play in. We'll see.
You just gotta get in.
Gotta be healthy.
You just gotta get in.
The best ability is availability.
Hey, and we're getting injured early in the year. They're recuperating. This is all part of Embiid's plan because he's been getting hurt every playoff, so he's getting rested as much as he can during the regular season.
You're right, because we've never seen Joel Embiid be hurt during a regular season before.
And the Sixers.
You know what statistic I saw?
What?
It's about the same odds of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid to play in a game is like a 53% chance in his career. And Tom Brady at the beginning of the season had like a 47% chance of making the Super Bowl. So you're telling me there's about the same odds of Tom Brady making a Super Bowl any given season as there is of Joel Embiid to play basketball. I've been saying it forever, but I feel like we should have traded Joel Embiid a long time ago. I love to watch him play. I love the guy when he's
so
playing.
good. Yeah, I mean,
he's always a baller.
When he plays, he's so good. That's just the thing. Like, you hate him when he's hurt and not playing and whatever he does with his antics. But like, as soon as he comes on for a 10-game stretch and starts dropping 40 points a game, that's like, and he makes every basket seemingly. It's just like, it's so tough.
Is it too late to get my Celtics card? I'm a Boston resident.
Yeah, it's too late.
All right. Well, it's a good to level set where we're at for the basketball season.
That's for everybody else. If everyone else was probably just watching football, and that's a little basketball overview for you, we'll probably touch on some things if there's some crazy happenings once we start getting to playoffs and some clinching situations and other stuff going on. We'll touch on it, and then we'll get into March Madness, so some more basketball will get thrown your way.
Should we jump into I think you'll probably be running the show for these next two segments. You want to talk about MLB? You want to talk about WWE?
We can say WWE for the end when people check out.
Okay.
We'll start with MLB, try to reel them back in. Maybe if NBA put them to sleep. And MLB doesn't put you to sleep, but I said this last week. We're going to do a division every week. We're going to start with the AL East. Next week we'll hit the Central and the West, and then with the NL East, Central, West. We're just going to kind of do what we just did at the NBA. We're going to see what how the chips have fallen in the offseason, who they gotten, who they lost, and what we think of their team. So we got 5 teams every week. So we'll start off with the AL East. We're gonna. I got them pulled. I got the depth chart pulled up. I got their acquisitions pulled up. We're ready to go.
Let's do it.
So the Blue Jays. We're gonna start off with them. Toronto Blue Jays. They have made some moves. Some of these teams have made a ton of moves, and some of these teams have done nothing. So, we'll touch on what we think of them and maybe what they're gonna do in the season a little bit. But Blue Jays have signed Anthony Santander, big free agent signing. They got Jeff Hoffman from our Phillies. They signed Max Scherzer to a 1-year deal. Watch Talking Baseball a little bit. They say 1-year deal is never a bad thing with a starting pitcher. He's like 42 years old, but he could go out there and throw a 3 ERA still for the whole season. So I think it's a good signing.
He could shove.
Yeah. They traded for Andres Jimenez, probably the best or one of the best defensive second basemen in the league. And all they gave up was a fringe prospect that was kind of coming up last year, Spencer Horwitz. And they added Miles Straw, another defensive specialist. He'll probably be a bench piece for the outfield rolling in. And the only guys they really lost, notably, are Jordan Romano to the Phillies in free agency. So they haven't lost too much. They didn't trade Vladdy. They didn't trade Bo. They got Anthony Santander. They were the laughing stock of free agency. They were second, allegedly, in Soto and all these other guys. But they did end up getting one huge guy with Santander. And I think they made some nice moves.
Sneakily. They picked up a lot, and like you said, they didn't lose
They lost,
much.
yeah, Spencer Horwitz, who was a young kind of prospect guy, and Jordan Romano, and that's all they lost. Their rotation is 50-50. They got Kevin Gausman, Barrios, Bowden Francis, kind of a breakout player last year, and then Chris Bassett's been falling off, and they don't have a 5, really. So that could be a struggle for them. Their bullpen's not bad. We touched on some of the pieces they got. They also got Chad Green, I think last year they traded for him, I want to say. But also not the best bullpen. Is that how much faith
you have in Scherzer?
Oh yeah, Scherzer's not on this.
I mean, you'd probably be in that rotation.
Oh yeah, maybe this wasn't updated. Wait, let me click refresh. I might have put this up like 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, Max Scherzer's there. Okay, I gotta make sure to refresh him. Yeah, so I guess Max Scherzer's their 5. So if he plays well, that's a great 5. And then they got Kirk behind the plate, Guerrero at first, Andres Jimenez at second, Bo Bichette at short, and then they'll probably have a battle in spring training for third base. Left field's going to be Santander, center Varsho, right field George Springer. So
it's not a bad squad.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be improved from last year. You have any thoughts on them?
I mean, fairly well-rounded. Competing against the Yankees in this division. Yankees are always good for a good old blow-up. I don't know ball too well, but like the Orioles, the Yankees are both pretty good squad. I mean, we're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. You could see them sneaking in. We should maybe wild card.
We should make we should make a tier list, and it's going to be like abysmal, and then like abysmal, bad, fringe, wild card, contender.
Yeah,
you like that?
I mean, I'll go first because you're gonna have a better lean here, but I would probably put them pretty close to the top of fringe.
Yeah, I was gonna say top fringe, bottom wild card. I think I like that spot for them as well. Let's move on over. Make sure I refresh this for the Baltimore Orioles. They are kind of the opposite of the Blue Jays. They had a really good team already, and they lost a lot of guys in free agency and haven't added nearly as much as they lost. They added Tyler O'Neill, who had a good year with the Red Sox. They added Sugano, a pitcher from Japan, who is apparently pretty good. I think he's he's on a 1-year deal. 1-year deals are never a bad thing. And apparently he's pretty electric. So that could turn out to be a pretty good ad for them. And then after that, they got like some older relievers. They got Charlie Morton, who I don't know about him. They got Dylan Carlson on a minor league deal. It's like they really only added 2 guys. and one of them is a 1-year deal from a Japan pitcher who are usually make or break. And they lost Corbin Burns, Cy Young potential. They lost Anthony Santander. They lost Eloy Jimenez. I don't know why he's even listed. I think he was in the minors. And so they pretty much have the same team, except those guys. So their rotation is they have like their depth chart has 11 starters listed. They have Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez, Charlie Morton, Dean Kremer, Cade Povich, Trevor Rogers, Sugano, Kyle Bradish, Tyler Wells, and Albert Suarez. I cut out like 2 of those names, but it's like those are 9 starters that I know personally. So I don't know what's going to go on there. If they're going to trade some of those, if some of those are going to get, some of those are probably going to go to minors. But I think we're going to see a lot of 6-man rotations also in the MLB. I feel like a lot of teams have 6 starters on their roster. I think we're going to start getting more towards a normalized 6-man rotation to reduce injuries.
Could see that.
Yeah, their bullpen is electric. Felix Bautista was out all last year. He's coming back as their closer. Yadier Cano, also an all-star closer when Bautista was out. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Phillies fans know him. He's up or down, but he was pretty electric when he got traded to the Orioles. And they added some other guys, but their top of the bullpen's pretty good, and they have a lot of starters. And then their lineup's going to round out. Yep, go ahead.
I was going to say, you can give me some knowledge here. If we move towards something like a 6-man rotation, especially a team with a good bullpen, you start having guys come out for, 4-inning starts, 3-4-inning starts, leaning on your bullpen towards the end of your rotation, or do you expect all of those guys to come in and pitch quality starts?
I mean, yeah, it probably just depends. There could be teams that maybe kind of throw 2 starters out there, like similar to the Phillies. I think had to do this a couple times where like Taijuan Walker had to pitch because we had no one else to go, and he went 3 innings, and then we brought in a young guy to pitch another 3 innings. You can see that kind of, so it's still 5 starts, so the top of your line guys still can stay in the rhythm of pitching every 5th day. Or a team like the Orioles right here, those are some legit starters. Like they could just straight up go with 6-man rotation.
Oh, yeah.
And so instead of guys throwing 200 innings, they only throw 150 innings. And you don't see as many maybe Tommy Johns happening or other injuries related to save them for playoffs. But I don't think it's going to happen quite yet, but I could see that happening because it usually happens at the end of the year. Teams move over to that. So I could start seeing it maybe happening in August or July instead of like end of August, September happening.
Okay.
And then
based on...
Go ahead.
Continue.
No, you go. No, you go.
I was going to give a too early take on where I think these guys end up. I want to hear you finish up.
Yeah. Adley Rushman's at catcher. Ryan Mountcastle and Ryan O'Hearn will be playing first and probably DHing. Second base is Jordan Westberg. Shortstop's Gunner. Also, Jackson Holliday could slot in at second base, and Westbrook could play third. Urias is a good defensive third baseman they got, so their infield is pretty solid. Their outfield, Colton Cowser, who should have been AL MVP, or not MVP, Rookie of the Year. Cedric Mullins, Orioles legend, still in center, and they got Tyler O'Neill, so he's going to play right. So they have a really rounded roster, and they're pretty deep. But none of their starters jump off the page. Like none of them. Kyle Bradish is probably their best guy, and he has had some injury problems. And their bullpen is really only Felix Bautista and Cano and some other fringe guys. So, where do you like them in our made up tier list?
I mean, it feels like a cop out putting them in the same place, but again, kind of feels fringe. Like you said, their lineup is more well rounded. They have some brighter spots as well. Like it's a full lineup and they have some studs, but like you said, the pitching. I mean,
yeah,
you can't expect your team to score runs every single game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have pitching to back it up, I think they're just going to be losing high-scoring games. I'd probably put them fringe to wild card again.
I don't think that's a cop-out because I think people are expecting the Orioles to probably be in that wild card or even contender range because that's what they've been the past couple of years, but they really haven't improved. And as like they lost their best starter in Corbin Burns, so I also like not contender, not wild card. I like fringe as well. I don't think this is far off from that Blue Jays team. and nothing is like they have no they have Gunnar Henderson, who's their best player, and then after that it's like Adley, who had some problems, and then all these young guys in Westberg and Jackson Holiday and Kobe Mayo is going to be coming up. They're all like super new, and I don't know how developed they are and ready for the game. We saw Jackson Holiday really struggle when he first came up last year, like really struggle. So yeah, they're going to have to rely on these pitchers playing really well. Grayson Rodriguez, injured last year. Charlie Morton, 50 years old. Zach Eflin. He's always he's a mid guy.
He's pretty mid, pretty consistent, pretty mid.
Coming off injury. Sagano coming from Japan. It's a different ball, different game. So yeah, they have a lot of question marks. So I like fringe.
Love it.
Yeah, I'll try to.
Couple fringe guys.
I'll try to pick it up a little bit. Don't gotta go too in depth with all these. The Rays. The Rays have made some good moves, but probably the worst team in the division. Let me refresh this. They added Ha-Sung Kim, great deal, for 2 years. They got Danny Jansen, solid catcher, DH guy. And that's it. They lost Jose.
Pretty uninspiring.
Yeah, they lost Jose Siri, a pretty good defensive outfielder. They lost Jeffrey Springs in a trade, solid reliever starter, kind of does both. And they lost Dylan Carlson, who is kind of trying to make a resurgence to the MLB. Kind of a bust anyway. And that's it. So their team's the same. I'm not going to run through their guys because they're not as notable. Their starters are all kind of question marks as well. McClanahan is a really good guy, but he was hurt all of last year as well. Rasmussen was good in the past, hurt last year, and then just young guys. They got a pretty electric closer in Pete Fairbanks. Other than that, bullpen stinks. And then their lineup's going to be Danny Jensen at catcher, Gandhi at first, Brandon La at second, Junior Caminero, that's probably one of the brightest spots. He's going to be a rookie this year. He played a couple games at the end of the season, but his rookie year is going to be this year. He's going to be pretty good. He'll be playing third. Ha-Sung Kim will be playing short. And then we'll see Chris Morel, who they traded for end of the season last year, playing left. They're going to go with like a platoon in center probably. And then Josh Lau will be in right field. I'll go first. I'm not going to put them in. They're not going to be fringe, but they're not abysmal. I'm going to just go with bad. Go have your take on it.
I'm not going to lie. I wish you let me go first because I was going to throw them in the bad range. But when you read through their lineup, it's honestly, I honestly would throw these guys fringe. Like, they're not marching nobodies out there. They have some talent in the lineup. But again, if it comes down to pitching, you need pitching, especially no bullpen. You're going to lose a lot of games in the late innings. So I could see them. It's a pretty competitive division. Like, I don't want to force guys. I don't want to force teams into bad just because we don't want to say that everyone's a fringe or contender. But it's a pretty competitive division. I'd probably put them on the low end of fringe, like the opposite of what we were saying about the other teams.
Yeah, I can see that. The Rays are always they draft really well, they develop really well. I just think because they're in that division, they're playing those teams more often, and at the end of the year, I think they might not be a bad team, but they're gonna have a bad record.
Right.
Okay, jumping over to our loyal sub and biggest fans team, the Boston Red Sox.
I think they're going undefeated.
162-0 contender, but actually, they made some moves. So they've gone Garrett Crochet, very good pitcher, in a trade with the White Sox. They signed Walker Buehler, who has some question marks. He's has some injury history as well, but when he's on, he's on. Patrick Sandoval, who I hate Patrick Sandoval, but they added him. Good. It's a solid 5 option if that's who he's gonna be. Aroldis Chapman, never a bad piece for a bullpen. He's not a closer anymore, but throwing 104 miles never hurts. Having that in your back pocket. They added some other relievers. They lost Tyler O'Neill. They lost Kenley Jensen, who kind of just replaced with Chapman. They lost Danny Jensen, who they didn't really add any batters. So that's he was a DH catcher for them. That might hurt a little bit. And that's just about. They didn't lose much. They also lost Nick Pivetta out of their pen. He's still unsigned though, so he could come back. And then we're looking at a very improved rotation from last year. Garrett Crochet leading it off. Tanner Houck, who's been emerging in the past coming years. Lucas Giolito, solid vet who was hurt all of last year. Brian Bayo, who's a pretty okay guy. Walker Buehler with some question marks, injury. And Cutter Crawford, who was like Tanner Houck. He's come up and become a pretty decent starter. So that's 6 solid starters. Did I refresh this? Just making sure. I did. Yeah, this is updated, and they don't even have Patrick Sandoval on their rotation list, so I don't know what they're doing with him.
Okay.
But their bullpen, probably not the strongest. They have a lot of scrappy guys, and some of these names might become more prominent during the year. But just looking at it now, I see Chapman and Liam Hendricks, both old. Hendricks had some injuries problems, and then some of their just guys they run out there in the past couple of years, Garrett Whitlock, Winkowski. So they're going to need some guys to step up out of that bullpen. And then rotation time or lineup time. Connor Wong, who was not supposed to be very good and has turned into a pretty decent starting catcher. Casas at first. Cedine Rafaela is probably going to play second, with David Hamilton probably stepping in a little bit. Devers playing third, obviously. Trevor Story coming back from injury again, playing short. Left fielder, going to see Jaron Duran. Center fielder, going to see Rafaela. So I guess Rafaela's not playing second because he's listed as their only center fielder on their depth chart. So you'll be seeing David Hamilton probably at second. And then Willie Abreu, another AL Rookie of the Year contender last year. And then Masataka Yoshida will be DHing for them. And he can also play a little outfield. So you're a Boston guy. You're going to catch some games. What do you think of this team?
I mean, feels like they have a lot of guys that have potential to have a lot of upside that could make them a good team. But when you're just going through and looking at this at face value, I feel like there's not a ton there. I will say a city like Boston with baseball, a lot of baseball is getting hot, vibes, things like that. I feel like you always see these teams making a push, like the Red Sox or the Yankees. Like, obviously they've had their bad seasons, but I can't really imagine them being abysmal. I'd probably throw them in the bad category, though. I don't think they have much going for them.
Wow. Shots fired. Dylan, let them hear it in the comments. I'm going to go the opposite. I think these guys were playing really well at the end of the year, and we're getting close to making those playoffs. Cedine Rafaela, Willie Abreu, David Hamilton. They were playing Connor Wong. Wong dongs were happening every other day, it felt like. I feel like they are really hot, and they're going to play pretty well. And I like scrappy bullpens. They have a lot of guys listed here, and the Tigers bullpen last year, where they just had 8 guys that were just kind of homegrown, and they all went out there and pitched really well in any moment. I feel like this is what this Red Sox team is going to be, and their rotation is, if they're all on, this is a pretty good rotation. So I put the Orioles and Blue Jays in fringe for a reason, because I'm putting the Red Sox in wild card.
Okay.
I think they're going to be scrappy, and they're going to be like an 80-some win team, I think, and make wild card.
I feel like all of these teams are pretty close to 80 win teams, though, you know?
Yeah, I knew I couldn't put them all in wild card, only really one or two probably. But I think out of those 3 we've said so far, not including the Rays for obvious reasons, I think the Red Sox are going to be the best team.
Well, we'll see how it plays out.
And then,
I mean, I'll be honest, I do root for the Boston teams. Philly first,
yeah.
But since I'm here, I'd rather see the team do well. I'd love to see them do well. See how it plays out. I would be
and something just happened to your mic. You sound a little off there.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
It's back. It was a little muffled for a little bit. It might have just been my end.
Might be my headset's about to die, but I'll get off here soon.
Yep. Last team, probably the most popular and expected to be a contender, the Yankees. Who? Does anybody really like the Yankees?
One guy.
He's not listening to this, so frick him. Yankees have added a lot, sadly. They have, well, go quick here because everybody knows about the Yankees. They have Max Fried added, Devin Williams, Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, Jonathan Loizaga, some other back-end relievers, Carlos Carrasco on a minor league deal just for fun, I guess. They did lose Juan Soto. They lost Gleyber Torres. They lost Clay Holmes. They lost Nestor Cortez. They lost Tommy Canley, and some other minor guys. So they've added a lot. They've lost a lot. We're looking at a rotation of Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, Luis Heel, Clark Schmidt, Marcus Stroman. I mean, we're talking about 6-man rotations. Well, probably not, because Stroman's probably not going to make this team, or he might go to the bullpen because that guy stinks. But those first 5 guys I listed are nasty. Clark Schmidt as a 5 is gross. Gil as a 4 is gross. Max Fried as a 3 or 2 is yeah, that's a disgusting rotation. Their bullpen, they added Devin Williams, obvious closer. The guy's insane. They have Luke Weaver still. They have Mark Leiter Jr. still. And they have some other, I don't even know these guys, to be honest. So maybe their bullpen's not all that. But I'm sure in true Yankees
nasty lineup.
In true Yankees fashion, I'm sure some of these relievers are going to come through and be a great piece for them. But they've 2 solid options at the top, though. And then their lineup, Austin Wells, who won Rookie of the Year. Paul Goldschmidt is going to be playing first, and Cody Bellinger can also step in there. DJ LeMahieu is going to be playing second. Jazz Chisholm's going to be playing third. Volpe will be playing short. Dominguez is listed here as the left fielder, with Cody Bellinger as the center fielder. And then Arson Judge will be in right, and Giancarlo Stanton will be DHing every game, probably.
I mean, that's a pretty nasty spot.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. My goodness. The Yankees are getting you fired up.
Did we say our top tier is contender?
Yeah.
I mean, this is contender to me. This is
I agree.
Clear contender. As much as you hate, I mean, I feel like these guys are always best in the league, and they end up getting slow at some point, usually in the second half of the season. And I mean, you have to imagine if they hadn't gotten slow, they'd be breaking records. I mean, they were in the World Series last year, and I feel like they have lost some pieces, but they added a lot as well. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah, they're a contender. No bias here. I don't like them, but that's a disgusting lineup. They have been riddled with injuries a lot every year, so that could come into factor for all these teams. Injuries could come into play, but we can't predict that. But yeah, it does seem like the Yankees / Dodgers kind of choke every year, so we'll see what happens. That's our first rendition of talking about some ball. We'll touch on the AL Central next week, and then it should perfectly, I'm pretty sure if I did the math right, it should perfectly line up to like opening day. Then we should hit all of those things opening day. Bam.
If we're wrong about the dates, we'll probably throw 2 in.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
We'll probably do a little MLB special, if I had to imagine.
Yeah, maybe.
For opening day.
Yeah, probably before March. I mean, yeah. We'll be throwing some weird stuff out there. We'll probably do some draft content one week, where a lot of the episodes of draft. We'll do one episode. We'll probably talk more MLB. We'll do one episode where we talk more NBA. But let us hear in the comments. Tell us which sport you want to hear about the most. Like, if everybody just wants to hear about baseball, we can just talk about baseball. If everyone wants to hear about NBA, we can just talk about NBA. If you liked a little bit of everything, we can keep running with that. Anything we don't touch on, except soccer, let us know. Anything else you want to touch on?
Coming up in an hour, do you want to do your WWE, or you want to save that?
I can do it. I can do an informal one, like real quick, like less than a minute.
Okay.
We'll just run it out there. You don't gotta time me. I do have some notes. I'm just gonna read it off. I won't go in on any tangents. Okay. Royal Rumble happened a few Saturdays ago. Jey Uso shockingly won it, and on Raw this week he challenged officially Gunther at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. Charlotte Flair won the Women's Royal Rumble. She's still undecided. And to fill in that other spot, because there's 2 world titles, they do the Elimination Chamber. 6 guys get in, 4 in a pod, 2 in the ring. They come in, kind of similar to the Royal Rumble, but only 6 guys, and there's pinfalls. And John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul have qualified for that. And we're going to see Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the one spot, and then we'll see Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu versus Damian Priest on SmackDown for the other spot. And on the women's side, we got Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and Bayley have already qualified. And we're going to see Raquel versus a debuting on the main roster Roxanne Perez for one spot, and then Chelsea Green versus Naomi for the other spot. That's kind of the lay of the land. It's on March 1st, the Chamber, so in a couple weeks. It's always a good watch, but it's kind of hard because Royal Rumble is so cool and good, and then WrestleMania is after, so like it's kind of like the ugly sister. It's still a really good pay-per-view, and the Chamber's a really fun match, but it's like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and then it's like it's still high up, but it's like it's still a little dip, so it'll be fun though.
Awesome. You almost got in under a minute that time.
It was informal. I could have stopped way earlier. I was explaining some things.
I liked it. I think that's a wrap on the show, huh?
Yeah, I think that was solid. We got a lot of beats. I don't see anything else. Nothing else I want to touch on. So, yeah. What are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, I got no plans.
Same.
I'm not gonna lie, nothing lined up yet. That's not true. I have a
liar.
A dart cabinet that one of my friends has been working on.
Ooh.
She's painting the Guinness toucan on a dartboard for me, and it's all finished.
That's sick.
So I got some Guinness pint glasses, and I got a nice big old case of Guinnesses, and
she's shipping that to you
and play darts. She's in Boston, so she's gonna drop it off,
nice.
And hang it on the wall, have some fellas over, run some darts, and drink some Guinness.
We totally missed talking about something.
What do you mean?
The parade is Friday. That's okay.
I don't know if we have time to sneak this in. You might have to give us a post-parade.
Yeah, I'll give you I will be going to the parade. I will update you guys. I've never been to a parade, so I don't really know what I'm going in with. We're going to take the train in. We'll try to find the best spot we can, closest to a rail, and I'm excited to watch it. But I'll be there with some friends. And that's all I got going on this weekend. We'll get Monday off then. I got Friday off for the parade. I'll get Monday off for President's Day, so it's going to be a nice weekend.
Beautiful. It's like Thursday for you.
Yeah.
Okay, actually not.
No, but yeah, sure.
Swing and a miss. All right, word of the week. I don't think we even got anyone to comment the word of the week last week, did we?
What was it last week?
I don't know. Vodka?
Yeah, I don't know if we made one last week.
It might have been vodka.
Oh, maybe we
took a shot
I think
of
you did
vodka.
say that at the end. Yeah, it got lost in the shuffle though, so it's okay. The word of the week. Everybody listen.
It's me this
week?
Yeah,
you can go. You can go.
Protein.
Okay, that's a weird one. So, make sure to comment what you want to hear or anything else you want to say. Tune into our TikToks or Instagram Reels. It's the same content right now, but we do earn some blind ranking daily on there. Make sure to like and comment on there to get some engagement for us. And yeah, shout out to everybody that watches.
Let us know if you want to see one of Trey's items every week. All right. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.